What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented by the Foul Territory Network. I'm your host, Noah Hiles, and joining me, as always, are Josh Harrison, a.k.a. J-Hay, and Mark, a.k.a. Platinum Key. Fellas, we're still waiting on that big move from the Pittsburgh Pirates, but as we wait, I feel like there's another discussion to be had. Obviously, everyone's pounding the table for hitting. On this show, we're going to talk about the other side of the game, pitching. The Pirates have a ton of it. How much of it are they going to retain? What are they going to add in addition to, if any? And what do they potentially need to add? That's going to be the focus of today's show. Fellas, we're going to start off here. The Pirates obviously have some depth to trade from. They've already traded Johan Oviedo. Mitch Keller has been in trade rumors for over a year now. Mike Burrows and Braxton Ashcraft have had their names attached to rumors. Did someone else? I don't know if it was a rumor or if it was just a proposed trade, but Bubba Chandler potentially. I mean, they've got a whole bunch of different options to move. However, as Ben Cherington said last year, your greatest strength is only your greatest strength until it's no longer your greatest strength. You know, when you have depth until you don't. And unlike any other position in the game of baseball, pitching depth can evaporate like that.
Mm-hmm.
One bad spring training and one of the greatest rotations in baseball can look like one of the worst. One of the deepest bullpens in baseball can become one of the biggest liabilities. So it's really tough to trade pitching away. We're going to talk to a guy who played on 3 straight playoff teams who had a whole hell of a lot of pitching. Josh, when you look at what they have right now as far as organizational pitching depth, how hesitant would you be to potentially move another arm or two this offseason?
That's a dicey subject.
Yeah.
Because as you said, if you have a plethora of pitching, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually a good thing, which means you can definitely delve into your bag to say, okay, we can make some of these guys expendable. But at the same time, as you said, one move, 2 moves here or there can definitely blow up a bullpen or a starting rotation. I'm not even talking trades. Um, Depth. There's typically somebody going on an injured list due to arm fatigue, a forearm strain, shoulder, something. So those are things that you have to almost have to kind of keep in the back of your mind when it comes to that. You don't want to hold on to somebody strictly purely off of just, oh, what if this guy gets hurt? But you also do need to have, as you say, those pieces that can step in the case of an emergency, because every team is going to go through injuries. Every team is going to need to use depth. Some have really good depth at position players. Some have really good depth with pitchers, starting pitchers. Some have it with relieving pitchers. Some have it in other places where you got your depth with the catchers, but you might not have it with the pitchers. But having a lot of pitchers is not a bad thing to have, because that's something that's always needed. So my eyes, I don't think it's a bad thing, because you can always use it to, I don't want to say pry away what you need, but you can use it as a trade chip to get what you really need. But make sure that somebody that you're trading isn't somebody that you're really counting on to be, that fringe guy that might be able to come up and get some big innings, whether it's, extra rotation guy, somebody coming out the bullpen. I personally think that when you have pitching, you can definitely use that to make your team better, but you don't want to get rid of all of it, because you're going to need it.
Right. And I mean, you look at this team, Mark, there are a lot of intriguing trade chips.
Oh, yeah.
But which ones do you move?
Yeah, so, I mean, Skeen's off the table, right? That's the easiest thing I'll say all night. But then you start looking, I think there's like, Keller's kind of like a 1A tier with Bubba Chandler, where obviously Bubba Chandler has huge upside, might even be more valuable than Keller. I would not move Bubba Chandler. Fangraphs like steamer projections for Bubba Chandler next year: 164 innings pitched, a 4.27 ERA, and 1.9 WAR. That's going to be, he's still rookie eligible. He's going to be a stud up there for like MLB or NL Rookie of the Year. So yeah, I cannot move Bubba Chandler unless it's something that really moves the entire fan base. Because you gotta give something to get something, but that would really hurt. So then you look at, like, you have Ashcraft and Burrows, the two 26-year-olds, both going to be around like 130, 140 innings, right around like 1.5, 2 WAR. Pretty similar as far as like value, I think. But Ashcraft really looked good. I feel like he was overlooked in 2025. Sub 3 ERA, absolutely shoved in his rookie year. So that would be a tough one to give up too. So if I had to give up one right now, it'd be Mike Burrows. I really like his changeup, but you're gonna have to give someone up. Yeah, and then besides
if you got a good changeup, that's like the toughest pitch.
Yeah. Oh, it's nasty. And then you got Jared Jones coming back, and then Hunter Bucco, Thomas Harrington right around the corner. So that's 8 names right there that are all starters. So I think you start at the bottom and go up. So start looking to see if Thomas Harrington draws any interest, if Mike Burrows draws any interest, and then go from there.
The interesting part with all of this too is you're theoretically trying to trade away a lot of guys who have very high ceilings, but also kind of low floors.
Right.
Braxton Ashcraft, Mike Burrows, and Hunter Bucco, they're, like you said, they're all 26 years old and younger. They've all already had Tommy John once.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, some of these guys have had other serious injuries to go along with Tommy John. You look at Jared Jones, he hasn't had Tommy John, but
everything but, it seems like.
Everything but, right. He came pretty close to it. And, we don't really even know what he's going to look like next year.
Mm-hmm.
The only 2 proven things you have, because Bubba Chandler is a healthy, one hell of a pitching prospect, but that's still what he is right now. The only 2 proven commodities you have in this rotation are Paul Skeens, who is, I'd say, a pretty good proven commodity, and Mitch Keller, who isn't, an elite tier player, but is a starter that would be in, I would say, probably every rotation in Major League Baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Even on the Dodgers, I think they'd probably work him in to be a 5, just because Mitch Keller does something even guys on the Dodgers struggle to do, and that's stay healthy and eat a ton of innings. And that's what's interesting about the Keller dilemma is if you're moving him, who's going to cover that 180 innings you can write in Sharpie when Mitch takes them out? Theoretically, yeah, you'd hope it's Bubba Chandler, but can he do it as effective as Mitch Keller? Probably, but it's not a guarantee. You're taking a gamble. I also think it's worth noting that this isn't a team that is rather balanced trading away pitching. This is a team that is built to win from pitching.
Right.
And that makes a difference too. It's not like the Orioles are inevitably going to trade away one of their bats. It could be someone younger. It could be someone a little older, but they just don't have enough spots for everyone. But they still have enough depth to get through it all. But when you're a team that's built to win on pitching, trading away just one of those arms could change the whole dynamic of everything. Because then you're asking guys to probably cover more innings. And how many more innings can Braxton Ashcraft cover? Because last year was the first year of his professional career, not just in the big leagues, of all pros, where he clipped 100 innings. There are other guys who aren't far away from that mark as well. So it's a lot of high-end talent, but it is risky when you're looking at this. And yes, this is a team where if the pitching bottoms out, we're not even having a conversation right now. Because regardless of what they do in the offseason, this offense isn't going to be one that will carry the load. It's going to be a pitching-first baseball team.
And I think when you look at the free agency market lately, I mean, the contracts that starting pitchers are getting, it basically just boxes the Pirates out from starting a lot of those guys unless it's just one guy that they're going to go all in on.
Yeah.
And so you have to look at these young guys under team control and realize that it's a huge benefit for the Pirates. So if you're trading a lot of these young guys, they might be 26, but they still have a lot of team control left. They're going to be cheap. You're not going to find that kind of value too often if you're the Pirates. So you have to really hold on to it and be sure when you're giving that up because it's a luxury right now.
Right.
It's also worth noting too that, I mean, you look, they're pitching development has been very successful, but it's going to be changing. I mean, they got rid of Marine, the major league pitching coach. Jeremy Bleish just left for another organization. I mean, they still have Josh Hopper, who is a big-time contributor. They bring in, obviously, a new pitching coach, and there will probably be some other hires on the analytical side as well. But this is going to be an interesting year just on that front to see if they can take that step forward that they were hoping to. And maybe that step forward comes through some additions. You can criticize the front office in this regime for missing on a lot of areas. One thing they've consistently hit on, guys, is signing veteran left-handers, guys who have come in and been productive. You could go to Tyler Anderson. You can go to Jose Quintana.
Martin Perez,
yeah, Martin Perez. I mean,
Andrew
Marco.
Heaney,
yeah. I mean, and some of those guys.
All those guys.
Yeah, and some of them, Bailey Falter wasn't a veteran necessarily, but they've been able to identify left-handers who pitch well in PNC Park and probably get more out of them than a lot of other organizations could. And even, like, you could point out, guy like Andrew Heaney. Andrew Heaney did not finish the season strong at all. They ended up designating him for assignment. But when they signed Andrew Heaney, they probably looked at him and said, we need this guy to cover like 80-ish innings to get us to a point where our young guns are here. And by the time Ashcraft and Burrows and Bubba Chandler were ready, they didn't need Andrew Heaney in their rotation anymore. So maybe that's the type of signing they go with. Or maybe you look at it, and if you trade away Mitch Keller, maybe you need someone who's a little bit more sustainable. So when you look at this pitching market, and you look at what the Pirates really need to spend their top dollars on, either through adding that payroll in trades or through free agency, how much of these resources available, assuming they're going to have a payroll around $100 million, how much of their payroll should they dedicate toward the starting rotation, not the bullpen? They've already addressed that, and there will probably be more addressing it, probably not to the extent of a $7 million contract. But how much of this, if let's say right now you have $40 million to spend on payroll, how much of that are you going toward pitching, starting rotation pitching?
I'll start with that. So I think there's an interesting argument right now to be made that I think a sizable chunk of that could be thrown at starting pitching. If you look at the left-handed pitchers that the Pirates would like be interested in starting pitchers, there's two at the top that are really talented, Framber Valdez and Ranger Suarez. And then it starts to drop off with like a Patrick Corbin, Jose Quintana, and the Martin Perez, Tyler Anderson, Heaney, like Nestor Cortez. So it falls off really quickly after those two. And I think Framber Valdez makes a ton of sense, especially if you're going to move Mitch Keller. He's exactly that same innings eater, like 190 innings pitch, count it, book it, put it in Sharpie, just like Keller. So you're replacing that. Lefty veteran, so you're adding a lefty to the rotation, which is a little bit of lacking. Bucco's the only lefty right now. Bill Murphy, the Pirates' new pitching coach, worked with Valdez because he was with the Astros in 2025 last year. And Valdez's market might be a little bit not what he was expecting it to be after that playoff incident where he gave up the grand slam. His catcher was trying to tell him to step off the rubber, and then two pitches later, he calls a curveball and drills him in the chest protector with a fastball. And so I that might scare off a couple teams that say, I don't know how much, because you look at 190 innings, I'll take that.
I'd go point out all the all-star appearances.
Yeah,
and stats
I mean, he's gotten Cy Young
his
votes.
overall body of work.
Yeah, he's gotten Cy Young votes for the last 6 years.
Still got to protect your catcher too, though.
Exactly.
But I can understand that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, he's projected to be like 28 mil a year, probably like around like 5 years, and he's 32. But if you're trading Keller and getting a bat that way, this is a way to spend a lot of money, still maintain that advantage. I mean, maybe even I'd say Valdez is an improvement over Keller. And so that's a way to fill that gap while spending money and addressing needs. So I think I would go for it. If you're not going to spend $40 million elsewhere in free agency, why not drop 28 on Framber Valdez?
I'll say this just real quick. I mean, they're clearly having a tough time signing free agents.
Yes.
If there's any player in Major League Baseball who would want to come perform in this organization, it would be a pitcher.
Yeah.
Like, they've had success. You look at reclamation projects, they have worked out. They've hit on most of their high-end guys. Obviously, they've had some failures, right? Roansy Contreras didn't pan out, and you can point out some other guys as well. But, like, you know,
overall,
if you're if you're a guy in a starting rotation, especially a guy like Fromber, who has had to carry that. I mean, and obviously they had some other studs in Houston this past year, but he's been the headliner really since Verlander kind of cooled down a little bit. So you come here, you have some weight off your shoulders. You could potentially just be like, hey, you know what? Like, we're just going to ask you to get us 6 every day, and we'll be good to go. I don't anticipate that amount of financial allocation toward a starter. However, it is worth pointing out, this team offered Nick Pivetta a multi-year deal last year. So they have that interest. They are not above adding to their greatest strength. Josh, if you're a player, though, if you're a position player on the team that had the worst offense in baseball last year, and you see them go out and spend tens of $millions on another pitcher, how are you feeling?
It's going to be a little bit up in the air because, one, you're talking pitching is a strong suit. Yes, you go in every game, you know, okay, we got a chance every day, but you got to score runs. And I'm not saying you got to average 9 runs a game, but no, and just to go, I don't know the exact numbers, but what type of run support did Paul Skeens get this year?
Not good.
Not good.
So my point exactly, arguably the best pitcher in baseball. And you got a team going out there that is fighting tooth and nail just to try to get this dude a no decision. Because if he's human. If he gives up 1 run, they might be looking around like, dang, is 1 run not enough to win this game? So as a position player, you've already seen that you got the best pitcher in baseball, and some of his starts didn't go the way that you hoped. I mean, his starts out there, you hoping like, oh man, all we need to get is 2 or 3 runs. But it's not that easy on any given night to go say, I'm going to score 2 to 3 runs. But at the same time, if you don't have a good offense, making your pitching staff does take some pressure off of the offense. But at the same time, the offense needs to put up some type of fight because pitchers are human. It's going to be a game where he goes out there, pitchers, and it's like, hey, they made some good swing, tough pitches. It might be broken bat bloopers. They got 3 runs, and it's like, dang, are we going to shut down after giving up 1 or 2 runs?
Right.
And as I said, offense is going to be that one thing of the game that's going to ebb and flow. But if I'm the worst team offensively, I have to address that need as well. Even if my strength is what it is, yes, you want your strength to continue to get better. But if you're only going to make the strength better, that's doing nothing but overshadowing what the real issue is.
Right. Yeah. You can't keep making your lawn great if the inside of your house isn't up to par. Right. So, to answer my own question on like allocating how much of it, I think they're in a position to make a bid for a high-end reclamation project. I look at a guy like Nestor Cortez, who isn't far removed from a solid season, and I would offer him maybe like a 1-year, $10 million deal to come in, especially if you trade. If you trade Keller away, you're still you lose what, $16.5 million off your payroll. You can replace 10 of that with Nestor, and Nestor comes into next year regardless of what happens with all these young guys who are going to be competing for a spot in the rotation. You'd assume some combination of Chandler, Burrows, Ashcraft, Jones, Bucco, and Harrington. They're all going to fight for those spots. But then you also have the reigning Cy Young, and you have a guy who's pitched in the World Series, a veteran, anchoring 2 of those spots down. And then the rest of those young guys, some of them can start in AAA, some of them can start in the bullpen, and some of them can earn their spot in the rotation. And if Nestor grinds it out for the whole year and stays relevant and stays as a top 5 starter, that's great. If he bottoms out, then you can DFA him because you have that depth. Or you can move him to the bullpen because he's pitched out of the bullpen as well. Not particularly well in the postseason. 1 big home run comes to mind by Freddie Freeman. But overall, I look at a guy like that who reclamation projects on the mound have a really good track record in this organization, even
yeah.
predating this current regime. So I think PNC Park is a pitcher's park. Lefties have always done super well here, and I think he's a guy that would fit really well in on this rotation.
And that's the one thing that I was going to say why PNC can be more, what's the word I'm looking for? Desirable for
Accommodating?
pitchers. Yes, for pitchers, because, I mean, take a look at that and you're going there, of course. You know what I mean? But then, not to say that PNC is this great big park, but PNC is, it's a decent sized park. Like, there's no cheap gimmies per se. So when you mentioning Nestor, he's pitched at Yankee Stadium and he's pitched for the Brewers.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two. I mean, guys love going to hit at those places. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just about Nestor Cortez. These are other pitchers that Pirates, may be trying to acquire. PNC is going to be a selling point because, I mean, one, I think it's one of the, if not, it is the dopest stadium in Major League Baseball. You know what I mean? That's a selling point. But two, also, I mean, pitchers, as you said, have come here and had success. And, sometimes being in a different organization, also knowing that, hey, I ain't saying I got this big part, but, it's completely different. Sometimes those projects come to PNC and they end up, I don't want to say striking gold, but you know what I mean? They end up, paying far more than what you might have ever expected just because, like, hey, we're going to take an opportunity. And as you said, if it doesn't pan out sometime throughout the year, you can DFA him, whatever. But, and if it does pan out, he might turn into a trade chip halfway throughout the season if he's not going to be in your future plans.
Go ahead. I was going to say, you could be real with them too and say, like, look, you can go play for a Dodgers or a Mets and be in the bullpen, or you can come here, have a guaranteed spot in the starting rotation to start the year, and if you perform well, you can probably get yourself another deal, another multi-year deal, if you do it well enough. It could be through us, or it could be somewhere else. I mean, Josh, like, you played with a guy like Edison Volquez, who came here. Okay. And made himself a lot more money.
And I don't even want to say reclamation project because he had good stuff, but as you said, had fell on a couple rough years, and coming there kind of revitalized his career. He had, I mean, for us, that was like one of the dark horse signings that we was like, you know what, we ain't here this year without Volky.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about, like, bringing, like, older guys in? Because, I mean, Mitch Keller is going to turn 30 and be the elder statesman of this rotation.
Well, let's rephrase.
That's a joke. That's a joke. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say what's considered older, because that's not to be funny, but
Yeah. No, like
years ago, older would have been that mid 30s, where now it's like older.
I guess you can go like 42, 43. Yeah.
I also think that veteran points, I guess, per se, can also, like, you can make up years as a veteran through achievement.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens is a veteran leader on this team. Like, he's young. I know he's never been to the playoffs. I get that. He's still entering year 3 of his professional career, but he has been the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, arguably, since the moment he stepped on a mound. When you go through that experience, you can lead a clubhouse. You can lead a team. So that's the leader. That's the guy who, and no disrespect to Mitch has been an amazing leader. But, if you're worried about having someone around that younger guys can come talk to about how to battle out of certain things, or, hey, what can I work on? How can I adjust this grip? Mm-hmm. I think Paul Skeens can handle that. So, and then you sign like a guy, even like, I just revert back to Nestor Cortez. I mean, this is a guy, Nestor, I don't know how old Nestor is. I would have to assume he's probably in his early 30s. Yeah. So, but there are other guys. I mean, 30. Jose Quintana pitched here well a couple of years ago. I don't know if he'd want to come back. I don't know if Heaney would want to come back. I don't know if they should bring Heaney back. Yeah. Tyler Anderson, same thing. But there are other guys. Or maybe you make a trade out there as well. Mark, what kind of guy are you looking for? Is it? Do they need a left-hander in this starting rotation that's not named Hunter Bucco?
I think it would help a lot, just because the only 2 bullpen options are Soto and Sisk right now that are lefties. Mm-hmm. So it just gives a little bit more versatility to just your overall game planning and what the other teams are doing. So I feel like it makes way too much sense, even if it is just one of these guys that's going to come in for 50 innings or something on like $1 million deal or something. Like Patrick Corbin last year signed for $1.1 million with the Rangers for a 1-year deal and ended up pitching 140 innings. So I think there's a lot of like dumpster diving, you could say, if they find guys that can work well within the system and develop. But yeah.
All right. Well, that will conclude our pitching talk for today. We want to remind everyone to subscribe to this podcast. We are on a mission to 1,000 subscribers. We have eclipsed the 700 mark. Let's try to get to 800 before the new year. I mean, 1,000 before the new year would be tremendous, but you know, we're making ground. So let's keep hammering that subscribe button. And guys, next week is our final drawing before Christmas, our final prize drawing.
Best one yet.
And yeah, it is the best one yet. But what is it? Josh, do you happen to know what this next week's prize is?
Got a little friend here. He says he knows.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look at this.
Let's go. Let me get him in the camera.
I don't know if you can get more
Beard's a little
authentic.
short. That might have been rookie Jay Hay right there. But I do remember this this bobblehead. From what I remember, I believe we were playing the Mets, and I think I could be wrong. I want to say that matchup was AJ Burnett versus Matt Harvey, Dark Knight versus Batman.
I remember that
Yes.
game. I was at that game.
Yes,
It was like a 4:00 game. Yeah, it was sunny.
4 o'clock.
Yes.
Yes, that was Batman versus Dark Knight. Like, I'll never forget that. My family was in town, obviously, for the bobblehead, but I was like, dang, my bobblehead, we got a 4 o'clock game with hey, you know, obviously AJ was like, ain't no way we're losing this game. I'm about to show him who the real Batman is.
Yeah. You guys got up really big on that one, didn't you?
Yep. So, yeah.
Look at
And
that.
Josh, are you going to add anything onto that bobblehead?
I actually am. I don't have it with me, but would y'all like me to mention what I'm going to add to it?
Yeah.
Anybody that's seen me play knows that I wear Mims band. James Mims is a caricature wristband of, let me get in the camera. And it'll have my picture of me, and I'll let you choose whether you want a black one, a yellow one, or a white one. I got my Pittsburgh Pirates color, so you'll also get a signed J. Hay Mims band as well.
So
And
signed bobblehead and a signed Mims band.
Yeah. Well, I was adding on to the bobblehead as well.
Yeah.
So signed bobblehead, signed Mims band. Be a nice little package deal.
Sounds like a pretty good prize. So if you are subscribed, or if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time to do it. Subscribe, screenshot it, tweet it at us, or email me, or show Mark or Josh, however you can. Get it in front of our eyeballs by Monday evening. That's the deadline to be eligible. If you have already applied, or if you've already entered this drawing, it's like, vote. Stay in line. Your vote will count. You know, do not get out of line. The polls have to let you in. So you're still in the drawing. Don't worry. We will be drawing it when we record Monday evening on the 22nd. So this is our final giveaway prize. Big thanks to everyone who's subscribed
Thank you,
this
guys.
month. The
The
fact that
sport's
we're
been awesome.
climbing,
Yeah.
the fact that we're climbing these numbers so quickly is pretty cool. So, we're very, very appreciative, and can't thank you all enough. Fellas, any final thoughts before we wrap up today's show?
Safe travels for anyone traveling for the holidays, and appreciate all the subscribers. Make sure to message us, because this is a cool one.
Yes.
Safe travels. See if anything happens over the weekend. See if we can get one of
We're
these new
coming
editions.
Monday.
I know, right? I like that.
He's Mark, a.k.a. Platinum Key. He's Jay Hay, a.k.a. Josh Harrison. I'm Noah Hiles. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Bucco Territory, presented by the Foul Territory Network. We'll see you again soon.